Hey, how's it going? Welcome to Looplearnings, and this is video number 26 of the series, How to Make POS System in Microsoft Access. And if you haven't watched the previous videos, I would strongly recommend you to do that. And the link for the entire playlist is in the description below for your ease. Now, before I go ahead and talk about what we are going to do in this video, I want you to visit the looplearnings.com website. The link is in the description below. There are free courses at the moment, and you can take advantage of some of these courses. Plus, I'm going to add the entire project that we are working on in POS system. Basically, the entire project I'm going to launch and upload it into this website. So you will be able to download this entire project file, and you'll be able to do that if you will go ahead and sign up to the looplearnings.com website today. So it's just few clicks. You just have to provide your basic information and you will be signed up in the looplearnings.com website. So link in the description below. Go ahead and sign up to the courses as well if you wish to do so, and they are free of cost at the moment. Okay, so what we are going to do today, well, in today's video we will we will wrap up our main component of the order form. And in today's video we are going to, for example, let me add a record. So we have added milk, 1 quantity is by default, and the pricing information is automatically added and updated as well. Now, what we are going to do today, well, if you will see, we have a button called delete. Now, if I'll go to the background or back end of this button, it is just deleting a record. Okay, now it's not generally a good idea to delete a record once it is added. It has to be deleted because of several reasons. Now, one of the reasons that could be that customer would themselves will say, hey, I don't want this item, so just remove it, right? Straightforward. But from the business point of view, one of the very important aspect is to monitor and analyze what was rejected. Okay, so if there are items, if for example a particular item which is being rejected by the customers very often, then the analysis can be made for those products because you already have data in your hand. So from the business point of view, this is very important. So rather than deleting the entire line, right, what we will do, we will mark it as deferred. Okay, deferred means that the customer may buy later or may not buy later. That's what it means. So we will, the moment user will click here, it should ask, hey, this item is going to be deferred, are you sure you want to do that? And if user click on confirmation yes, then this entire line information should go in another table which we will create right now, and it will be called deferred table. Okay, so that's the functionality we are going to build. We don't want to delete any item. If the item is added once, anytime it is deleted, it goes to somewhere else within the database. Okay, it will be deleted from order lines, definitely. The pricing information will also update it automatically, but we don't want to delete that information entirely from the database. We want to store it somewhere else, so it can be analyzed, it can be referred to if required to do so. So there's a lot of benefits a user can get by having this functionality. So let's go ahead and do that. But before I go ahead and do the tasks which I have explained for video number 26, the one that you're watching now, I spotted one problem in the previous video. If you will notice, we built the functionality for the quantity, right? So for example, if I will go ahead and add the milk 4 quantity, let's say, okay, so 4 quantity I will add, I will click save, it will be saved. Well, technically milk was not even available in 4 quantities. How do I know it? Well, if I'll go to the inventory management record, you can see that -2 at the moment, it is -2, and this is wrong. It should not go lower than 0. That's the 0 is the last stage of inventory. The inventory should not go in minus actually. So that's the problem, and we need to first make that correction. So if you have been following, if you have watched full tutorial, the previous one 25 number, then I would strongly recommend you to make that correction. I will show you what I'm going to do now, and then you can have that correction in your application as well. It's a small addition of code. There's nothing big that you will have to do. And by the way, why you guys, I mean, some of you guys watch my full length videos, so thank you so much. But most of the people, because my analytics do tell me that most of the people, they watch only few minutes of the video and then they just drop. Is it not the engaging content, the way I explain it's a problem? What do you don't like it? So just let me know in the comments below so I can make some improvements in the way I deliver the content. So that would be appreciated. Okay, so in order to handle this particular scenario, we don't want this to be -2. We don't want inventory to go lower than 0. That would be a problematic. So to handle that, we'll go to the add line item and save button. We'll go to the code block. This is what we did the VB coding in the previous video. If you have watched it, if you haven't, please go ahead and do that. Otherwise you will not understand what I'm doing here. So watch the previous video as well. Okay, so this is where we have written the code that if the inventory quantity, if the quantity is increased, then the inventory status should be checked, and we checked if the quantity is 0, then only check for this logic. Well, we need to modify that. Even if the quantity is not 0, let's say it's 1 quantity remaining in inventory and somebody puts 2 quantities, it will accept like the way you have seen it. So we will handle that. So what we will say, we'll say dim stock check as integer. Okay, not stock check, dim difference. So we're checking basically the difference. Okay, so we'll say dim difference as integer. So we will define that variable. We will set, and now we will set that variable here. So we'll say difference is equal to what? This quantity minus this quantity. Okay, so quantity in add line item minus quantity in the actual order lines form. So that will be subtracted. So this will be subtracted with this, and then we will get the distance, difference, not distance. We'll get the difference, and then we refer to that difference quantity, and then we will check if the quantities that is entered by the user is greater than the difference or not. So that we will do. So I don't know whether you have understood or not, but hopefully you will when I will explain you and demonstrate to you. So me dot quantity dot value minus, okay, so minus what? Okay, we'll take that. All right, so basically we'll take this and we'll paste here. Okay, now with this line of code we have calculated the difference. Okay, so for example, what difference I'm talking about, I will demonstrate to you. So let's say I will open it. Okay, let's say I will type in quantity 6. Now what is the difference? 6 minus 4 is equal to 2. Okay, you got it? That's the difference we have calculated with this particular line of code that we have added just now. Okay, now where it is, here it is. So now we will refer to this difference, and we will say if the difference quantity is greater than what we have in our stock, then throw an error. If difference quantity is greater than what we have in stock, then throw an error. So we'll keep this logic. We still want to check whether the quantity is 0 or not, or that's what we will build, or quantity exclamation mark available, or difference, the difference quantity that I've explained you is greater than qty exclamation mark available. Okay, so now it should work. Now if somebody tries to add, all right, so all right, this is other code block, this is not the same one. Okay, so now every time there is an increase in quantity here, it will calculate the difference, then it will check whether we have that quantity available or not. So that's what it will do. So I'll show you, just give me a moment. So I'll go to the order line, I will correct this. Okay, so I'll make it one quantity, just manually I'm doing it just to demonstrate. So we'll go to the order F. Okay, just to correct the prices. So everything is correct now. Now what is the quantity available? Well, we have milk 1 liter, quantity available to be sold is 1. Okay, 1. Remember in a previous demonstration I increased the quantity from 1 to 4 and it allowed to be added. Okay, so that was wrong. Now let's see if the workaround that we have done, whether it will work or not. So I'll click save, and lo and behold, it says the available stock of the selected item is insufficient. So I'll click OK. There will be nothing changed. Let's see, I'll change it to 3. Should it work? Well, it should not work, because then in this case when I added the difference 3, when I added quantity 3 minus 1 is equal to 2, right? So that's the difference it is calculating. Now it is checking whether do we have 2 pieces available in the stock or not. At the moment, if you will see, we have only 1 piece available in the stock. So that's why it is throwing an error. Now let's add one quantity, whether it should work or not. So let's add it. So we'll say 2 instead of 1. Customer wants to buy 2. Now what is the difference? Difference is 1. Should it give error now? No, technically not, if our code block is correct. And I'll save it, and lo and behold, it is saving. It is working perfectly fine. So if you were following, if you did the exact same coding that I demonstrated in previous video, please make sure that you do this correction. It's very important. Okay, now let's move forward to today's topic. I'm sorry I had to explain that because I don't want to give wrong information or wrong guidance, so I have to explain that. So apologize if you if you were distracted a little bit. Okay, so today's topic, now I'm going to start working on today's topic. So what we wanted, we don't want to delete the item. We just want to take this information, paste it in a different table, and delete the line item from this particular form. and the table and record sets. So let's go ahead and do the create another table. So basically, if you will see, we want this exact same information, right? So let's copy the table. Okay, let's paste it, and we want only structure, and we will call it a deferred. That's the table name. Okay, so deferred table, deferred lines. Let's call it deferred lines, and we will click OK. Now I will go to deferred lines. The exact same information is there, just I wanted to get rid of this calculated field. So we'll add this, we'll copy it here, and it is number. Okay, and we will get rid of this. All right, fine. Okay, so now we have table with the exact same information that this table holds. Okay, so that's the first thing I wanted to do. Now let's go to the order form, and in order form I will click on this button. We'll go behind this, and then one more logic I wanted to add here, that if the status is confirmed, then also it should not allow, because earlier it was allowing. If me dot status is confirmed, then this item cannot be deleted as it is confirmed. Okay, right. So here, after else, we will have to write our code blocks. Okay, now let's recap what we want to do with this button. So accordingly we can put some logics. So what we want to do is, first of all, the moment user clicks on this button, we want to throw a message box with two options, yes and no, and we want to ask user, hey, do you really want to delete it? And if user clicks on delete, then we will go ahead and copy the information. Basically, we'll get the information from all these fields, and we will paste it or replicate it in deferred lines table, because that's the table where that information will be stored. As I said, we don't want any item to be deleted entirely from the database. Even if user deletes the item, it should go and be stored somewhere else, and it can be analyzed later on if it is required to do so. Okay, so the moment user clicks on yes, then everything goes here in this table, and this existing line in order lines table should be deleted automatically, and the pricing should be updated at same time. So 4 things we are going to do with one click. So that's the functionality we are going to build now. Hopefully you have understood what I'm trying to do here. If not, then still you keep following, and at the end of the tutorial you would know that what I was trying to do. Okay, I will try to make it as simple as possible so you can understand. So the first thing first, we will declare dim response as integer, because first thing we want to throw a message box with yes or no options. So for that we will have variable created with a variable called response. Now we will set a response is equal to message box. Okay, and what message we will give? This item will be deleted. Are you sure to Are you sure to proceed further? Question mark. Okay, and now we will give option VB yes, no, plus VB question. Okay, comma, choose option. That will be our heading for the message box. We also want a beep sound, a beep response, so people the user would know that something has happened. So then if response is equal to VB yes, then basically if user will click on VB yes, then what should happen? Well, then the first thing we need to do is, first, before deleting the record, first thing first, we want to copy this information from this line item and we want to replicate here. Now we are going to use record sets, and if you know, we have been using record sets since 3 or 4 previous past videos, and you can see that record sets are always very useful. And to use record sets, we will have to declare a variable. So we'll say Tim deferred lines. Okay, we'll call it deferred as a record set. Okay, so let's do some work here, and we will set the deferred is equal to current db dot open a record set. And which record set we are opening? Well, we are opening the deferred lines, the new table that we have, because this is where we want that information to be copied. So that's the record set we are opening. Okay, so deferred lines, make sure the spellings are correct. DEFERRED, DEFERRED. Okay, that is correct. Deferred lines, that's the record set we want to open. Now after opening the record set, what do we want? Well, we want to add a new record in this table, in this record set. So we'll do that by saying deferred dot add new. Okay, so deferred dot add new, because we are adding a new record. Now every time we are going to refer to this table, we are going to refer it by saying deferred. Okay, so just for your information, because I'll keep repeating this. So first thing what we want is order number to be copied from this table. Okay, sorry. So we'll say deferred exclamation mark. What do we want? Order num. Order num is equal to me dot order num. Because remember, this line already have that information. Basically, if I'll go to this table, this line already have order number. So we are basically getting the order number from here and pasting it here. Okay, so likewise, the rest of the fields, we are going to copy the information in deferred lines table. And therefore, we will keep repeating until we reach till the end of the column. All right, so deferred exclamation mark. What is the next information? Product ID. Product ID is equal to me dot product ID. Then what do we want? Description. Deferred exclamation mark description is equal to me dot description. Then what we want? PBT, price before text. So deferred exclamation mark PBT is equal to me dot PBT. Then what do we want? Tax. So deferred exclamation mark tax is equal to me dot tax. What do we want? PAT, price after text. Tax, not text. Okay, PAT is equal to me dot PAT. Then what? Quantity. Deferred QTY is equal to me dot QTY. Then net total. Deferred net total is equal to me dot net total. Status, and that would be deferred exclamation mark status, and we want that status is as deferred. and then we have status date. Okay, I hope you're following me. Are you sure you're following me, right? Okay, now we reach till the end of the columns, and now after we have added all the record, what do we want? We want to update it. Okay, so we'll say deferred dot update. We also want to close it. Make sure that you close it, otherwise you will repeat the same operation and you will end up having multiple lines here for the same order number, same order line number. So make sure that you close this operation. Okay, that's what. So now what we did, two things we have done already. So with this, we have thrown a message box to the user saying, hey, do you want to delete, or yes or no? User clicks on yes. Then we copied the information from this table, basically from this form to this form. After we are done copying, what do we want? We want to get rid of this line item. We want to get rid of this line from this table, because this table, the order lines, should only hold the information for the sold items, right? Anything which is rejected, which is deferred, it should be copied to the deferred lines and should be deleted from here. So I hope you are understanding. This is the business logic, and this is one of the very important business logic that we need to build in our database, in our system. So that's what we need to do now. Now we have copied the information. We need to simply delete that information now from this existing form or existing table. Okay, we want to delete that record from here. So to do that, we will use the SQL statement, and to use SQL statement, we will have to set the variable, and we will have to declare the variable. So we'll say dim delete record as string. Why string? Because SQL statement is a string itself. So then we will say delete record is equal to, the way we set our record set, similarly we are going to tell Microsoft Access that this delete record variable that we have created here, what it equals to, what it means. Well, it means this SQL statement. So the statement would be delete, right? Because we are deleting the record. Delete static sign. Static sign mean everything in this line item only. I'm not talking about all the records. Everything related to that particular record that we are going to delete. So that's what the static sign will do. From where? From this table, order lines, because this is where the actual data holds at the moment, right? So we want to delete that. So we'll say delete static sign from order lines. That's the name of the table, order lines. Where? Okay, where? If you will not use where clause, then sorry, but your all the records in this table will be deleted. So be careful, be very careful to use and do not forget about where clause, because we are talking about deleting one line item only. We don't want to delete entire table records. So in this case, one line item. So that's why we'll have to define which line item we need to create, delete. Where? Well, where order line ID equal to what? Oops. Where order line ID equal to me dot order line ID. Okay, so basically what we have done is we have checked this line. So basically we clicked here, we will check the order line ID for this line, and then we will check it in our table. If that line ID exists, then go ahead and delete it. Okay, but we will have to complete this code block. So first of all, we'll say do cmd do cmd dot set warnings false. So set the warnings as false. Why do we need to do that? If you will forget to do it, even though user have already got the warning message that, hey, are you sure to delete this record, the user will still get another warning, and that might be confusing to the user. So make sure that you set that warning as false. Okay, so that's very important to do it. And then after that, you do cmd dot run sql. You run the SQL statement, whatever you have written here, and it should be equal to delete record. Okay, now ladies and gentlemen, we have replicated our record in the table called default lines, okay, from the order lines, and then we have deleted the record from the order line table. Now after this, what do we need to do? Well, after this, because the record is deleted, of course there will be difference in the pricing information as well. If one line is deleted and let's say there was $100 price, those $100 should be deducted from the total order price. Very, very important. Make sure that you build that logic in. And to do that, we will use the record sets again, and where our information holds is in order total queue. This is the query where our pricing information holds. So we are going to use the record sets to do that. But before we do that, we have to open the query, we have to refresh the information, we have to close the query immediately. So let's go ahead and do that. Do cmd dot open query. Which query? Well, order total queue. That's the name of the query that we want to open. After opening, what do you want to do? Do cmd dot requery, basically refresh the information. After refreshing, what you want to do cmd dot close the query. Okay, so where it is, AC query. And which query do you want to close? Well, the one which we open, that's what we want to close. Okay, and after that we will run the record set, and let's first declare the variable dim rsp as a record set. RSP because we are checking the pricing information, and let's set RSP equal to current db dot open a record set. And which record set we want to open? Well, we want to open this query order total queue. Open mean in the background, right? We want to take a snapshot, db open snapshot comma db read only. Okay, so we are just reading the information from this query called order total queue. And what do we want to read? Well, first of all, we want to check whether is there any pricing information exist in this query for a particular order number. Okay, that's what we want to check. So we'll say that the RSP dot find first. So first of all, find what? Well, we want to find order number is short form of order number, ampersand, and it should be equal to forms order f dot form dot order num. Okay, so it should be equal to this. So we are checking this order number in this record set in this query, and we are referring to this order number on this form. So once the records are matched, then we want to get this pricing information. Okay, so we'll say if RSP exclamation mark, if RSP dot no match, if there is no match is equal to true, then if for example this query doesn't have any pricing information related to the order number that you are working on, then of course it should show that this price it should remain 0, right? Because there is nothing added in the in the table yet, in the order form yet. So that's why this pricing information remains 0. So that's what we will do. So we'll say forms exclamation mark order f dot form dot order total is equal to 0, because we haven't found the pricing information of that particular order in this query yet. So that's why it will always remain 0. Else, if we have found, then what? Well, then simply not 0, then we want this net total to be added. So we'll say RSP exclamation mark net total. Okay, I hope you got the idea. I hope you're understanding. I hope you're following me what I'm trying to do here. Once the pricing information is added, technically we are done. But before we are going to close this VB editor, we will need to requery the forms order f dot requery. Okay, and then we will end if, and this end if is for this if block. Okay, how about giving a beep sound as well? Okay, else, now we are still else statement. Well, if user clicks on yes, let me explain again for those who got confused or lost on the way. So we threw an error the moment user clicks on delete button. We threw an error, and that error said, hey, this item will be deleted, are you sure to proceed further? And then if user clicked on yes, then we are going to copy the information to the new table called deferred lines. Okay, and we are going to delete the record in the order lines table or order lines form. Then we are going to refresh the pricing information, and then we are going to fetch that latest pricing information and replicating it on the order. That's what we did. Okay, if the user clicked on no, then what should be done? Well, then nothing should be done. So do nothing, and simply we will close our code blocks with two end if conditions. That is it. So let's debug it. Okay, no problemo at the moment. All right, let's test it whether it is working or not. So order lines, deferred lines, at the moment it is empty. So if our code block works well, works fine, then whatever information we have here for the order line ID number 78, it should be replicated here. Okay, so that's very, very important to do that. All right, let's go ahead and test it out. So we currently have one item. It's milk for 1 liter milk, quantity 132 is total price. Okay, now if I click on delete record, and okay, so our first test is passed. That means we are getting an error, not error, message box, confirmation box. And if I click on no, then nothing happens. I'll go to the deferred lines, nothing is copied here. Order lines, the data remains exactly the same. So we have passed the second test as well. Okay, now click again, and this time I'll click on yes. Okay, so data is deleted, pricing information is 0, but we see this deleted written here. Okay, that we can figure it out. We can requery this subform, so we can get rid of this deleted written here. But the most important thing is, let's see if the data is copied here or not. So data is copied. Let's see if the line item is deleted. Line item is deleted. So our code block is working well. That deleted comes on the form. We can do something about it. So let's say let's see what we can do. So we'll go back to the order form. I'll click on delete button. We'll go to the form here and VB editor, and let's say we requery the subform as well. So if that happens, if data is deleted, well, after this technically we should do requery. Okay, let's debug it. Let's test it out. We will add another item, this time yogurt we will add. We'll click on delete. Yes, there you go. So that deleted that ugly information that was appearing here, it is not appearing anymore. So I think that is it. I think this is enough for the order form. If there is anything else, definitely we will add it, we will do it later on. But this is it for today's video. I hope that you have learned something. If you have learned something, even if you have not, please do let me know in the comments below, and also subscribe to the channel if you have not yet subscribed. Hit the bell icon so you get notification. Also like the video, because this is how YouTube algorithm will learn that people are liking this video, and it will spread to bigger audience, and that's what I want. So thank you so much for your support till now, and I really hope to see you again in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.